I want to welcome you into the belly of the beast. We're standing here in our inaugural Bloomberg commission by the artist Goshka Matsuga in front of the great iconic tapestry of Picasso's great painting Guernica. It's a great pleasure and a privilege to be able to be part of the jury for the 2009 Jarman Awards and for the Whitechapel Gallery to be hosting this event. I had the great pleasure of working with Derek Jarman years ago at the ICA, and I know that he would completely approve of the shortlist of artists that have been nominated for this prize. They are Anya Kirshner and David Panos, Simon Martin, Lindsay Seers, and Stephen Sutcliffe.
So this year I've got great pleasure in asking Lindsay Seers to come and collect.
I haven't prepared a speech because my mother, who claims to be clairvoyant from her, inheriting it from her mother, told me with absolute certainty that I wasn't going to win. And she told me who was going to win. Can I look at that card? So I haven't really prepared anything, but I would really like to thank some people who helped me realise the two pieces I was shortlisted for. One was at the Tate Extramission 6, and the other was at Matt's Gallery. It Has to Be This Way. At the Tate, there was a fantastic team. Sophia Karamani, I don't know if she's here. Can you hear Sophia? She helped me through the nuts and bolts and was a kind of shock absorber to all my fears and anxieties, which were great. And also to all of the team at Matt's Gallery, particularly Robin Klasnick, who I perceive as a kind of maverick saint and I totally adore, so I don't want to eulogise him too much because he'll be embarrassed, but thanks very much. I've never won anything before. I'm delighted. Thanks very much.
Well, congratulations again for winning. And I suppose what I'd like to ask is why this award is important for people who make films, artists who make films specifically.
If I was going to project forwards, I think the fact that it kind of is entering the popular domain with Channel 4 and business, it's an idea of exposure to a massive audience rather than the usual amount of people who might turn up at an exhibition in galleries. I'm showing you might be 700 people or less. So this is, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. So I guess that's what's significant about it.
That must be an exciting prospect, catering to a really eco population essentially. It must be daunting and exciting.
It is. I was watching television and thinking, television's quite good.
Yes.
What can I do with television? And I suppose there are quite a few interesting precedents for artists who have done interventions in television. They usually are kind of counter to television in some way, and I haven't, because I really didn't think I would win this competition.
You mentioned your
clairvoyant
mother.
Yes.
Indeed, it is too soon to ask, but have you any thoughts about what your commission piece for Channel 4 might take the form of?
Well, I've just been filming in Ghana for 5 weeks, so I've come back with a huge amount of material which I'm formulating a piece from. So I feel like I'm just entering into a new phase, and I'm pretty sure it's going to arise from that archive footage from Ghana.
What kind of footage are you shooting?
It's a piece that builds on the Matt's Gallery work. It Has to Be This Way. It's a part 2 to that piece. That piece has an accompanying text, which is a kind of novelette, which gives the point of view of three different people: an editor, my mother, and Alice, who is presumably me. On a story about my stepsister who went missing in 2001. So the piece that I'm developing in Ghana, which is part 2, is about my mother. My mother's sailing to Africa when we were teenagers, and so I visited. I retraced a journey across the coast of Ghana, and then travelled to the north where Christina travelled. So it's a piece about architecture. Okay. It's quite influenced by a few different things, but Rob Grier's novel Jealousy, and also a little bit of Doris Lessing's Golden Lowbrook, which is more reference to South Africa. But also Herzog's film Cobra Verde, which was shot in Ghana, and the novel behind that by Whitechapel. My working method is derived from the philosophy of Bergson, who I regularly read. But it's a bit dense to go on about that, but it's to do with an idea of the interrelatedness of all things, and how do you perceive history in relation to metaphysics. So,
and do you see film as the perfect way, the perfect medium for relating that?
I read Bergson as, I probably misread him, I'm like a kind of amateur philosopher, but he talks about film in relation to the limitations of mind. Obviously Deleuze takes Bergson and starts to think about film as a way of accessing space that can't be experienced through one's immediate experience with the material world. So I see Deleuze, perhaps I'm wrong, as offering a way of thinking about film as being this kind of metaphysical experience that Bergson thinks, but Bergson thinks it's a limitation of mind, and I oscillate between the two. I'm much more a Bergsonian in that I think there's a kind of sickness in my relationship to wanting to grab, to keep back, to record, to take away, to live and experience later. But on the other hand, it's so incredibly mesmerising.
Absolutely.
So,
dealing with memory, particularly the work.
Yeah, well, that's my general notion is to think that memory is something that is constantly created rather than something that sits as a solid thing in the past, and it's always reconfigured every time we enter it. And that is so shifted by film and photographs. The film and photographs themselves are never staying the same. They're always proliferating new thoughts, new possibilities, new experiences. So even when I look back at old photographs, everything has changed in my relationship to those people. So the images themselves, they change. So I'm always trying to work out what this kind of conceptual and philosophical idea, but also trying to embed it in an idea of life, this experience of lived life, and then counter to that the formal ideas of qualities of particular lenses, hence the desire to take photographs in my mouth. And in Ghana I had this camera that I was describing, the Sony camera, and I had it quite a lot of the time hidden in a hat. So it's kind of, because the piece I'm working on is about my mother. It's my mother's mind that I want to picture. So I'm kind of shooting from the head, and by chance. And it's been unexpected in the sense that I didn't realise how frantic one is with head. So just walking down the street, I didn't realise how much I check left and right. Just it's like an unconscious, protection of walking forwards, that you're looking, so it's very frantic. It's not, I realised how as soon as one starts filming, you enter into this kind of artificial gesture. And so I did start actually walking in the most peculiar fashion, but I have to see what I can do with that.